I think generations are an interesting chasm. Like, you can actually change the future of any society by influencing the next generation. And similarly, technology in its own way is a generational chasm. So we're moving from the internet age to the AI age. And that allows you a point of equalization. If you master AI faster than the rest of the world, and you can because it's a new game altogether, you are suddenly in the race. And in all fairness, my assessment is India has a extremely smart, hardworking, adaptable, adjusting population, and all of those things are skills. And if you want to test out in a neutral environment, if those skills work out, you can look at the Bay Area, you can look at New York and New Jersey, and the rest of California. Wherever Indians go abroad, they master it. I think there's a statistic, pull this up, that 49% of land in London is owned by Indians at this point. We are some of the smartest people in the rest of the world. But why that same intellectual capital does not translate to fiscal capital here is a question mark that needs to be answered. I think we are very smart people with very underdeveloped systems and a very nascent education system. And I think that hurts the most.
I agree with you.
I think I would
But
not-
like I said, we cannot I've thought about this problem and I said, what will it take to fix this problem? And waiting for the education system to change and catch up, not happening in our lifetime.
No.
We need to build probably like 10,000, 100,000 colleges before.
It really makes a difference.
So, what's the next best thing? How can I use AI? So, I've created an app called Showreel. All right? Showreel B cubed. And through which I teach critical thinking to kids.
How do you define critical thinking?
It's a way of thinking, it's a way of coming up with your own solution to a problem. What does your inside gut tell you?
So is it tapping into my instinct?
It is tapping into instinct. Today, how to do something that has already been done before, AI will do it better.
Right.
Let's say you have a way of coding.
Right.
Or you have a way of computing tax, you're an accountant. A legal opinion, AI will do it better. Legal stuff, you search for opinions of the past. What opinion has this judge given on this similar case?
Issue, right.
Issue, AI will do it better. You just type in and say, this is my case, find the 5 most similar cases to this. Earlier, you had to tap into LexisNexis, do this, prepare arguments. You can tell AI and prepare an argument for me. It'll do it for you. So that is meaningless in the age of AI. But what is meaningful is critical thinking, where I can use my imagination to think of a product or imagine a world that still does not exist and come up with a solution for a future world. So you're looking into the future, you're not looking into the past.
No, you're speaking, that's actually a very good way of understanding it, because I feel like my education system, until I stepped outside, and I have a very strong transition phase, because I studied in India, went to the US. The first class I took was a class in Hinduism, and it was a class on Krishna. Mind you, I am from Vrindavan. My sister's named Radhika. So we are a Krishnite family. I was raised in the tradition. So this class would be easy, right? I do the readings, it's not very difficult. I sit down to write my first paper and I got a D grade on it. I couldn't believe it. So my professor called me in and he told me in very many ways how I hadn't even written anything in the paper except copying written material. And to my mind, I was like, this is all I've ever learned is copy what you have read, maybe make it into your own language at best. If you're smart enough, you can do it, paraphrase well, and that's good enough. And it did not dawn upon me for an entire semester that some amount of originality, whether wrong, whether completely stupid, is required for me to work here. And I'm beginning to think what you mean by critical thinking is something very similar, because most of my education is, what did you read in class yesterday? Repeat it today in the test. And it's no longer an education system, it's a testing system. Guised, decorated as an education system. Because all that matters is the test, right? In every sense of the word. You're taught what the test needs and you focus on the test. Everything is the test and not the education at all. But is your idea of critical thinking like first principles thinking, like start from beginning?
Yes.
Forget what you know and now start building up to it.
Yes.
And you think that can be taught, or is this a life experience kind of thing?
It can be taught.
Is there a way you measure how much you've taught
Yes.
this to someone?
Yeah.
How do you measure it?
AI.
What's the AI's app?
measure this answer. And so the way I have structured the app is I ask people to come up with a solution to this question in their own words. So they answer me in an interview.
Right.
Like a Zoom-like interview. I'm digitized,
Right.
but I ask the questions and they provide the answers. And each of their answers is then graded by AI on how creative is this answer? How out of box is this thinking? You know, how unique is it to the level of, and we put the inputs also of, you know, this is a ninth grader answering this question versus a 45-year-old versus a 56-year-old entrepreneur answering this question.
Right.
So AI understands that. And based upon that, they come up, yeah, this is creating, it lacks in this area of creativity or this area of this thing. So,
and how does the participant get a feedback?
they get an actual feedback with actual notes provided by AI.
Right.
Where you're like, hey, you can please go and change. This is not unique enough.
Right.
Which is a polite way of saying you're copying it, you know?
Yes.
Or you're doing it this way.
Right.
Think more creatively. You know, this lacks originality. So the AI provides you with all of that feedback. Today, it's not enough to know. See, all of our knowledge, so-called, in India is based on how well you know a subject. Like you said, testing.
Right.
It's completely useless. It's what you do with knowledge. Aristotle said this however many hundreds or thousands of years ago. Knowledge without action is not knowledge. It's the action portion that is missing. Today we've got millions of people in India in very high positions. They're all theoretical geniuses. They've never worked with their own hands. They don't know the issues and problem-solving ability when you're actually working with your hands and figuring out what to do. That comes only from experience and critical thinking. Hey, wait a minute, I'm doing the same process over and over again. Why can I not automate this process? Right? A smart person will do that. Today we're like, oh, let's hire people to do that. You're not going to get originality from them because they think all they have to do is this.
Right.
Over and over and over again.
Right.
It is that, I mean, I'm a bicyclist, for example, right? And somebody who is probably an avid bicyclist came up with this idea to simulate an outdoor biking experience indoors. Not the Peloton way, but by reversing the,
The wind pressure?
No. Reversing the screen where it becomes more of a 3D effect, where instead of you watching a 2D image, you know, the camera is on your head and you are looking at a 3D. So when you're bicycling, you're actually traversing, you know, forests or mountains or roads, and that visual change in the way you, and with depth perception, that you watch a screen that is 3D.
Wait, is this a VR device? Am I wearing
No,
something?
no.
So is it a camera? Is it a projector on my glasses, or how does this? What is it called?
This is a new startup.
Oh, it's a
GoFundMe, like,
Okay.
you know, but it's like, it's just reverse the whole, it I think puts the camera on the bicycle itself.
Sure.
That is looking at the whole thing. So you get a perspective when you're biking as if you are in the forest.
Yeah, because if the screen's steady and I'm trying to move, the screen remains steady, and so the effect is lost.
That's
the experience is lost.
That's right. So
Right.
this is just a visual deception, but yet it is creative. And he came up with it because he's like, you know, why can I can bike for 5 hours out in
mountains,
the open,
right.
but when it comes to a Peloton, I can't do it more than 35, 40 minutes.
Because I'm bored.
Because I'm bored. Eyes are bored. My audiovisual cortex, the visual.
I'm not fully involved. My brain is not completely active when I'm doing it. Yeah. No, it's a huge difference.
Whereas you're seeing stuff. You
Right.
actually feel you're there.
Right.
You know, that visual change makes all the difference.
Right.
And you know, you're taking in all of this data from your peripheral vision, not your frontal vision. Now, I'm working on another product that it's a new human-machine interface that will allow people to consume data at 100 times that they're currently consuming it.
So you're building for the dystopian future.
Not
Man
the
versus
dystopian.
machines.
The
The utopian.
in the next 4 or 5 months, you will see a product that we will help you experience data at 100 times the rate that you're currently experiencing.
So I'm not reading it at that point, because reading has.
You're not reading it.
Yeah, because that has
As
a
it is,
latency.
84% of the internet is videos
Right.
already.
Right.
Videos and
But
images.
videos are slower than text. In
we
terms
will,
of,
we will show you videos at 100 times the rate that you can consume them today.
I want to get to that in just a second. I want to finish the point about critical thinking, because my instinctive feeling when you were saying we're helping people write and then grading what they're writing is that you're teaching them verbal.
Not right. They speak.
Oh, they speak the answers.
They actually have to come on camera and record their answers.
Okay.
So there's no writing.
There's no
Which
writing.
means they have to internalize the answer and be confident enough to speak and answer me. I'm the one asking the
Oh,
questions.
so you're the interview there.
I'm the
you're live
interviewer.
there.
Yeah.
No, my feel about that is that my instinct said that I don't know if it's critical thinking, Prakhar. I think it's more like helping people reason verbally, even if it's audio, right? It's a verbal reasoning thing. But then I thought about it a little more.
No, it's critical thinking, because you have to, after you have got all the inputs, you can use the internet. In fact, we provide you with a professor agent as well, where you can ask, this is my question, what is the answer? Now, you cannot memorize that answer.
Sure.
You have to internalize it, understand it, and put it in your own words. Because when you're answering another human being, like we are having a conversation, this is free flow of thought. I didn't come prepared with any pre-canned answers. I'm telling you how I truly believe and feel. I have internalized these ideas.
Right. This is
They are
not something
mine.
you could have learned. You can't speak infinitely if you've learned it. You
That's
can only
it.
speak from your source. And I believe you on that.
That's it.
And in fact, I was actually making the contrapoint there, which is that my experience and my understanding is all of critical thinking is an exercise in language. And if you can argue for and against the same position over and over, if you do 100 repetitions of that, your critical thinking will go up by a factor.
No. It's what you believe. What story do you believe? I mean, for example, we watch sports, right? India, Pakistan, India, South Africa, India, Australia, whatever. What we are interested in the outcome. But what is the outcome? It's a story. Either Australia won or we won.
Right.
And of course, we want our story versus somebody else's story to come true.
Right.
Critical thinking looks at the world in that way, where what story do you believe? Right? Who is doing wrong to whom? And what is just? You have to internalize it, and you have to come from a point similar to what like Brian Johnson was trying to say, is all of our life is actually a story. And we get to participate in this story and write our own story. So what do we want our story to be? And how we write it is entrepreneurs just imagine and dream a future world that still hasn't occurred. It's nothing to do with the past. So the ultimate purpose of life is not to make money, kind of thing, you know. It is to make a difference to humanity. All entrepreneurs think that way, or the real ones. Like, you know, a famous saying of one of the VCs in Silicon Valley is, it's not the mercenaries that win, it's the missionaries that win. Because missionaries are true to their purpose. We will solve a problem for someone. That one person could be a company, that one person could be an individual. And our belief is, if we solve that problem for that one person, we'll solve it for 6 billion people. Hotmail was such an idea. We just solved the problem for 2 people.
Right.
Jack and myself.
Right.
We both were in a company called Firepower Systems. The company put a firewall around the corporate intranet. And Jack came up with this idea, what if we made email available on the web? That would solve our problem. I got it immediately. And we said, let's switch focus from what we were doing, which was a personal web-based database, to this, because this will solve the problem for everyone on the internet. And we had a hard time convincing investors. They're like, whom is this? What is your target market? You know, they come from the traditional world. What is your target segment? I'm like, everyone. What do you mean everyone? You have to have a focus. I'm like, no, everyone on the internet will one day use this. That comes from critical thinking, where you are imagining a future that hasn't occurred,
Right.
and you have come up with a solution, and you are so excited, you know the whole world will use it one day, and that's exactly what happened.
And in that moment, you become a missionary to your mission.
You
right?
become a missionary to
You
your
start
mission.
carrying the message to everyone.
That's it.
Yeah, I think one of the easiest ways to sell is if you truly believe in what you're
That's
selling.
it.
Right.
That's it.
Right.
That's it.
And if you just bought like a mercenary.
And I'm not doing it because I want to make money.
Right. I think you have enough.
That's it. Maybe I'm very lucky.
Yeah.
But for example,
Right.
we discussed this also, that people who do startups over here, they want to make it risk free. Oh, if it's been done before, we'll do the same thing.
Right.
That's, in my humble opinion, as an entrepreneur and as a person who thinks of ideas, that's copying. That's not original thought.
Yeah, at least it's not original thought. Maybe it's importing, not copying. Right. Like at least that's how they would like to see it.
That has finite outcome.
Sure.
That does not have infinite outcome.
Right.
Infinite outcomes happen when it is so original that you've solved a problem for just 2, 3, 4 people who are your friends and your family, but you've solved it in such a critical way that all of the internet will use it.
गाइज अगर ये सुन के आपको भी लगा वाओ मैं भी ऐसे सोचना चाहता हूँ, मैं सीखना चाहता हूँ ऐसे कैसे सोचते हैं, तो क्या करना है? सब्सक्राइब का बटन, सब्सक्राइब.